Oh, well. Check, baby. 1, 2. Ready. 1, ready, 2. Check, baby. 1, 2, 3.
Are we sure we're ready? I don't know if we're ever really ready.
Ryan, the excluded middle, coming at you from the back shack. Yeah. Let's go.
See, that's why take two is always better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
A little mishap yesterday.
For sure, just so everybody knows, we recorded yesterday. We had an amazing show. Amazing, I will say. It was, it was good. You had to have been here. It was good because you definitely won't be seeing it because I think we got about a minute and a half of recording and, we didn't get it.
Two minutes and 9 seconds.
Yeah, and I was like, Ryan, you have one job. One job to do, man. One job. That's it. One job. And you know what I mean? Come on, man. I was like, man, we almost fired Ryan last night. I don't know who this we is. I ain't got a mouse in my pocket or nothing, but, it was close. It was close.
It was. Well, there's obviously a learning curve to this that never ends.
Yeah.
And just like your bike, like we totally forgot to fix it before we started.
Yeah, see, this is Ryan's other one job.
Mine's good.
Yeah, Ryan's got, I think, anyways, Ryan's got a bunch of just jobs for this, actually.
I think it's like I should come out here more and do stuff.
Yeah. He's almost pretty much became indispensable, in fact. Yeah. So anyways.
It happens.
So, yeah, we'll roll with the punches for sure. But, should have been here for the show yesterday. It was good. We unpacked a lot because we hadn't been on here for quite some time. I mean, I don't even know when the last show we ran, but I know it's been a while. A lot of ups and downs, a little roller coaster ride, as typical with life. But the downs have came down quite hard here with us, including others around us for sure. The ups have been there too. So the roller coaster ride of life. All one can do is buckle up and enjoy the ride.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I think that's key, though, is you have to enjoy it even in the moments. You got to be able to find some sort of joy somewhere.
Always, man.
And, yeah, I mean, even in defeat, through grief, sorrow, anger, all those things, like as soon as you lose sight of joy, man, it gets bad quick.
And and once you lose sight of that joy, I find it very difficult to even come out of it. Like it takes a while, man. Like if you lose that connection, it's tough.
It is.
It is very tough.
I'm not a big fan of Disney, but there's a movie that's out called Inside Out, and it's like
I like that one. Yeah, I like that one.
Talks about feelings and different things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the character's name is Joy, in fact, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Possibly she's looking for joy or whatever it is, and it's actually very fitting. Do you want some help with that?
Nope, I think I got it. Yeah, dude, I nailed
Perfect.
It. Yes.
You just got to screw some knobs and twist here, twist there. Anyways, there's a lot of working parts to this.
Yeah, I'm figuring it out, man. I'll take this over. All right, man. Don't worry about this part of the job. I got this.
I mean, we got the fancy mics now and headphones. And
I mean, we're getting legit here.
Yeah. Fancy computers and stuff. Yeah. Now we just got to learn how to use it all.
Yeah. Yeah. In time, man.
Yeah.
In time.
I like your haircut.
Oh, yeah. See, for sure.
I do. We have to talk about some of the things that we didn't do yesterday.
Yeah, my whole purpose of growing my hair out, well, I don't know about purpose, whatever, the whole goal, I should say, when I first opted to grow the hair out, I was like, man, I'm just going to grow it out. I've never really grown it out at that length before, and I was like, man, I just want to be able to put it in a good ponytail in the back and kind of rock it. And then I got there, but then I got kind of attached to it. I kind of liked my hair. You kind of get, I got attached to it. I don't know any other way to say that. And I didn't really want to let it go. Plus it took so long.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're talking a couple few years. I don't know how long it was, a couple years at least to growing it. And, I just didn't want to cut it, man. It was tough. I walked in there 2 times before I cut it.
Did you really?
Yeah. And was going to cut. I scheduled an appointment and walked in there. Even my barber was like, Ryan, I don't want to cut your hair, man. Yeah. The first time. And I was like, dude, I really don't either. He's like, let's not cut it today. He's like, let's not do it, man. He's like, you have amazing hair.
Yeah.
He's like, let's not cut it today. And we'll just, clean up your beard and face and whatever else and trim up a little bit and we'll just come back to it. And so, after a while, I scheduled another appointment, went in there to get it cut. And he's just looking at me. He's like, man, are we cutting it today? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. He's like, man, I'm saying, Ryan, I don't want to cut your hair. I just don't want to do it. And then, the same thing played out. And, at this point, it's starting to get hotter outside. And obviously, I run a lot too. So it was it's a lot. It's high maintenance, man. I felt it's high maintenance. There's no other way to say that.
Yeah.
But long hair is high maintenance. And so I opted again not to cut it. And then I think 1 week later, I scheduled again and went in there. I was like, yeah, it's done. I was like, we're cutting it today. And he's again said he didn't want to cut it. And I was like, well, you're going to cut it. And then I said, well, do you need me to go somewhere else? I mean, you just want me to go somewhere else? Or I was like, better yet, well, you just give me the clippers. I'll just shave it off. And he's like, well, Ryan, we're definitely not shaving your hair. So we're going to go ahead and cut it. So he went and cut it, man. He does an amazing work, man. And does an amazing job on the hair. Local barber here in town, man. I really love him to death, man. He has an amazing shop too. So,
oh yeah,
the Legends Barbershop.
If I ever get a haircut,
give him a shout out, Legends Barbershop, man.
I'm definitely gonna go see Val or Tommy,
dude. Number one shop, I
and
think.
well, yeah, I dig it. I met him through a Bible study.
Yeah,
at the shop.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember going up there with you that night.
And it was just there's, like when you walk in somewhere and you just feel it.
Yeah.
That's the feel you get when you walk in there.
Yeah, I love that. I love it too, man. I love going in there. Just, that atmosphere, that energy, just everything that you take in. It's like the true barbershop experience when you go in there, man.
Absolutely.
I love it, dude. Like you got the guys, they're all, he's got several barbers in the chairs.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of dudes just sitting there. And everyone's just chatting it up. We're clowning, laughing. The new barbers are usually getting made fun of a little bit. You know what I mean? Even the older ones a little bit. It's just a great time in there, man.
Well, I think the atmosphere that I get is it's all walks, everybody welcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, it's definitely an experience. I always thought kind of that was like a thing. Like there's certain things you experience. And I remember as a kid, like you go get your haircut, it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, and it was good times because occasionally we go with my mom to wherever she went. She went a couple different ladies, but once a month or whatever, when Dad would get his hair cut, we'd go with him. And it was like, it was like we'd go out for breakfast first, then you go to the barbershop for a couple hours, and then we'd go do something. It was like this whole day event.
Whole process, man. It's a process.
And,
dude.
And it was, my dad worked a lot, so it was like, kind of just some us time.
Yeah.
And that's what guys did, like him growing up, it was probably, like when he was in college and going to do that kind of stuff, you kind of go as a group usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And everybody would go at the same time, get their haircuts, chop it up a lot, catch up on everything, all the town gossip and, stuff like that. It's not exclusive to salons that happens, unfortunately. But that's where a lot happens,
For sure.
And,
man.
well, it's no different. We've talked about this a little bit, like what happens around a table, like this table, a lot happens around when we get together for a meal with our friends. We went out for the birthday party here a while back, and it was kind of chaotic and not everybody knew everybody, but it was still a good time.
Yeah, it was fun.
And having that moment, that connection is so big.
Yeah, it's a therapeutic, like almost a therapy session at times. You know what I mean? Like, that barber gets to talk to a lot of people, man. He's good at talking, good at listening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a great time, man. And I remember when we used to go I used to take all my boys, my boys still actually go there. And I remember we used to I'd take all my boys, like you said, it made a whole whole thing out of it. And all of us, there was me and, 4 of my boys.
Yeah.
We would schedule out probably like an hour and a half worth of barber time, man, in there. So it was a good time, man. Guys get to really know each other, man, in there. So yeah, great time, man. Great time. Love the barbershop experience, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Big change. It is the haircut. When you walked up yesterday, I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize you.
Man, it feels good. I'm telling you what, like, even while I'm running, I feel lighter. Yeah. I'm knocking out some PBs right now. I'm killing it out there, man. Feeling great. Feeling good.
Having hair's hot.
Yeah. Oh, it is, man. It is.
Yeah.
I did notice, like, when I do run, though, the hair would catch a lot of the sweat.
Yeah.
But now that I don't have the hair, it seems the sweat's dripping down the forehead a little bit more than
Had to
before.
acclimate.
Yeah, but, I'll take it, though, because I feel lighter, cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel cool. I always feel cool, though, but I feel a little cooler, man.
I always felt cool. That's good.
Cooler than the other side of a pillow.
Did you watch the debate last night?
Man, yeah, you're going to see, dude, the debate, man, I tell you what, yeah, let's talk about that debate a little bit. I would like to talk about that because, like, I lean more on a Trump side of things, you know what I mean?
Naturally conservative.
Yeah, naturally conservative, I guess you could say. And I don't even know, I think I just lean more conservative, but I mean,
I don't think you're political. I think it kind of comes down to somewhat, and it does for me a lot, is moral compass.
Yeah, I guess, your moral compass. I like that too, man, to a point.
I mean, I fall somewhere in the middle, but I'm not a libertarian per se.
Yeah, but and I just remember Trump on his first term. I think I just liked his like zeal and his excitement and his just that energy level and just that, you know what I mean? I kind of in line with that type of energy. You know what I mean? I was like, man, this guy's on fire. Like he could just bring about that crowd. And I really loved him, like even through his presidency, man, I did like a lot of his stuff he was doing. Like his foreign policies were real good, man. You didn't see a lot of wars and stuff like that. The one thing that really got me is when Trump came in towards the end and started backing that COVID vaccine and was really kind of pushing the vaccine.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know where he really fell on that, but he was still kind of pushing it out. And right there, I was kind of like, man, dude, I don't know about that. You can't be
became
pushing
political.
that. Yeah, exactly. So I think he was doing what he had to do. But then going back to the debate, and I really don't tune into much, but I mean, I'm going to tune into the debate just for the entertainment purposes, especially because Biden's on there, man. Because that dude, he makes me laugh. Like I laugh. Dude is hilarious, man. And you kind of feel bad for the guy, but man, dude, it is funny, man. And then, but as I'm sitting there watching these two guys, the only what I was coming to was just like, dude, you guys are old, man. Like they are old dudes, man. I'm like both of them. Like even Trump didn't have like that.
Not the same as he did 8 years ago.
No, but I mean, look at what he's had to gone through. I mean, he just went through a trial. He's now a convicted felon of like who knows how many, and who knows the ramifications of all that. I
personally feel like it's just a day in the life of Trump. For the last 40 years for him, it's always been something with him. Now, what I do find interesting is Biden, and it seems like a lot of Democrat Party people fly under the radar for so long. And so it's interesting to me when they bring up old stuff of Biden that's trash. I mean, it is terrible.
Man, dude, he was sick.
You know what I'm saying? And he really, and it wasn't even that long ago that he's vice president, and he's flip-flopped so much on some of these major things.
Yeah.
And I would say that, and this is just my opinion, I don't think it's conjecture. I mean, it's based on perception of what I take in as fact, is that Trump has stayed with what he said he was going to stay with, except for at one point in time, Trump was a Democrat.
No kidding.
And then he became an independent and then latched on to the Republican Party. Now, I would say he was a conservative Democrat, but it's very interesting how things work. I think even, I watch a lot of YouTube. You watch some YouTube. We watch some TV, just whatever we take in. And it becomes propaganda at some point. Even the debate last night, the questions were pointed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And neither one of them really answered them well.
No, that's what I thought was funny too, because, and then neither of them answered him very well. And then Biden really came through and he would just be mumbling, man. Like you couldn't even understand a word he was saying. Even Trump at one point was like, I don't even know what this guy said. I started busting up laughing when he said that. I thought that was so funny, man.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, and then towards the end, well, I don't know how, I'll just go ahead and jump into that one too. We can come back. But even at the end, what struck me is then Trump started bashing his golfing game right there during the debate was like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, you suck so bad you can't even drive the yard
50 yards,
50
yeah.
yards or something. I'm just like, dude,
I don't know a lot
who
about
gives
golf,
a shit,
but
man.
I noticed Trump did not announce his handicap, and Biden's is either 6 or 8. I don't even know what that means for sure, but
Me neither,
I
man.
think they give you leeway of 6 or something. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. But I mean, Trump was using that to bolster his health, and
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people who say like Trump's legit good at golf.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear, man.
Don't know, and I'm not trying to be mean. I don't know what Biden's good at.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either, man.
It's not riding a bike. It's not walking upstairs.
Should have stopped riding the bike. Yeah.
So for me, there's a listen. The Democratic Party to me has had issues for so long, and I don't know how some of these guys get elected. There's a dude from Georgia or somewhere. I can't even remember his name now. But there's a clip on the internet. I seen it probably 5-6 years ago. And so they're having a discussion with the U.S. Navy about the island of Guam. And this dude from Georgia, he's been an official for years and years, is like having this serious conversation with his admiral about the island of Guam and how many people live on it. And he's concerned that if too many people get on it, the island's going to tip over.
No.
Swear to God.
No.
Not even kidding. I'll find it and send it to you later.
Yes.
I posted it up on Facebook, man, and
It's hilarious,
a
man.
lot of my friends thought it was funny, but some of them did
Oh,
not.
that was freaking hilarious, Ryan. If
People
you didn't
take
think that was
politics
funny,
very serious.
like, if you don't think that's funny, man, I don't know.
It is funny, but it's
Oh,
so sad at
hilarious.
the same time that this
Yeah.
is the guy that's representing a large
Good point.
portion of tens of thousands, if not 100,000s of people in Georgia as their, I think he's a senator. And for the life of me, I can't remember his
He
name.
thinks the island's gonna flip over.
He was concerned that as an overpopulation that the island would flip over. And then they panned to the admiral, and his face, dude, was like, what? And he just says, sir, I don't think we have to worry about that happening. You know? But and this
And he
guy
kept a straight face. Well done, sir.
He
Well
has
done.
to. That's his job.
I know.
This
Well
guy
done.
is
Me, I'd have been busting up.
still a senator. I think his last name's Johnson or something like that. It's a black dude. But so
Johnson and Johnson.
yeah, it just goes to show that, I mean, I think beyond local government, I think that there's some merit still to local state governments. You know, I mean, we have a Democrat governor, and I think she does very well. I don't know that I'd have voted for her. My dad voted for her, and he's hardcore Republican. You know what I mean? But he could not stand the guy that was before. That
was that Brownback, wasn't it?
was
Yeah.
terrible POS.
Yeah. He
So,
kind of,
yeah.
he did a lot. Yeah. Anyways, not to go there, but yeah.
So
He kind
but
of tore it up a little bit.
politics plays such a role in everything we do. And it can cause like unneeded stress. Obviously, I don't know. I don't get too worked up about it because to me, it's almost like I look at it like when I'm watching, especially like Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. I feel like I'm watching a TV show.
Dude, it feels like a soap
It's-
opera, man. I'll tell you what,
It's
man.
like a cross of that
Oh.
with Big Brother, and you know, I mean, it's a terrible reality show that doesn't have a good ending. You know.
A system that fails but cannot fail, more or less.
It's so
What it is.
entertaining.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
Oh, yeah. Even
Yeah,
my kids, like I was watching it, like my youngest, KC, was watching it with me last night. And he was even just busting up, man.
Yeah.
Just busting up at Biden for the most part. But then we also had some chuckles just because, I mean, like I said, they're both like 80 years old, I think.
Yeah.
Like 78, 80.
to it, yeah.
I don't know, man. But and I was just like, hey, man, I was like, our Sunny, what is that? Sunny Meadows. I was like, Sunny Meadows Nursing Home call's got a couple openings. You know what I mean? Like, and my whole thought process is like, I get you guys. You know what I mean? You know, you guys had your time. You did your things. That's why I can't stand our system. It's like, how can we not have a younger, more just a more of a leader coming in, you know what I mean? That holds ground better, that is, you know, that's strong, that's younger, looks a little bit more physically fit, looks a little bit more disciplined in some areas, and just has it going on.
You know,
And
when
it's
you
like,
look across the world, there are quite a few younger leaders that are really making waves. Now, whether they're good waves or bad waves, you know, that's yet to be determined. Some of them are already screwing stuff up terrible bad, and they don't last long. But I agree. I don't know who the next up-and-coming Republican would be. I like Vivek Ramaswamy, that guy. I can't even say his last name.
Like the Indian looking fella?
Yeah.
I like him too. The younger guy. See, I thought he was going to run.
He did.
But then I think he stepped down and endorsed Trump just because everybody wanted Trump to go.
Well, Trump had it. You know what I mean?
So it's like, but that's when Trump should have said, hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and step down. Let's go ahead and endorse this gentleman right here and let's bring him forth, man.
Yeah, right.
But you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. That's why their ego gets in the way. And
Unfortunately, yeah.
and it's like, dude, well, that's not the type of leader you want, man. To me, it'd be like, man, you're 80 years old, dude. Like, come on, man.
I think Trump. So the good thing is Trump only is allowed 4 more years.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So he knows that he's going to do 4 years and hand it off to someone else. And so it'll be interesting. I mean, we don't even know who his VP for sure pick is, all these things, you know?
True. And then I was thinking, too, this is my other flip on it, too. And like I said, I don't tune into much on politics or anything. I stay out of it. But like I said, I watch the debate. So here's my thought process, too, because it seemed to me, because I left the TV on after it was over, started doing some things. So I think it went to CNN, maybe. I don't know. Some lady.
It depends on what channel you're watching.
And then they were I was watching on channel 12.
Yeah, so that's what I watched.
Okay, so then afterwards, they were talking smack a little bit, like on how it went on one of the candidates, and I just assumed it was Trump just because the media always bashes him. Dude, they were bashing Biden. And I was like, what?
All his people that he had.
That threw me. I was like, I can't believe it. They turned on him, man.
Yeah. So depending on what news you watch, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them would have said it was coming and it's been in the works for a while, and it all hinged on his performance in this debate. And so honestly, for me, which it does have an impact in things in my life, I'm not disputing that because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. You got me watching it last night. Told me it was on. So I was like, yeah, let's tune it in.
Well, I think when I texted you, I said you got to watch the clown show.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, however serious, I wouldn't say that to someone who takes it real serious, probably.
You just did.
Yeah. I mean, after the fact, it doesn't matter. I mean, leading up to it.
Yeah.
Because everybody that watched it knows. I mean, there was no effective benefit. We didn't learn anything new.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Nothing new, man.
CNN's ratings probably weren't even any greater because I didn't watch it on CNN.
Yeah, we didn't even hear you would think going into something like that, they even shut off each other's mics. You know what I mean? So they couldn't interrupt.
Part of the agreement.
Okay, so I noticed that. But you think during that moment, you would have the opportunity, if you're like coming in, if I'm going into a debate as a president, I'm coming in, I'm going to lay down my plan. I'm going to allow you to see the future. I'm going to allow you
None of those steps were given.
See that vision. You know what I mean? This is what I have planned, to bring about America, to bring about its greatness, to capture everything that's, in that moment of America and bring forth something of magnificent. Yeah. But you didn't get that, man. These guys are, like I said, talking smack on each other's golf game in the middle of the debate. It's like, dude, come on, man. What are y'all doing here, man? I get what they're doing, but it's like, I want to see something better, man. I want to see something better from our leaders, man. I want to see their vision, what they have planned for us, what they're going to do, the steps they're going to take, you know what I mean, to bring us out of what we're dealing with, the inflation in itself, man, the amount of money we're spending at the pump, the groceries. Good night, man. The struggles, with other countries. I mean, the wars breaking out. There's just, there's all this craziness, man. And it's like, I don't know. Or at least one of them just say, put Christ first. You know what I mean? At least say something like that. That'd be amazing in itself, man.
So,
there goes your presidency.
There would be a lot of unhappy people.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think that the separation of government from church body in certain aspects is good. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with how it affected the public schools and all those things, And now people are making a big deal about Louisiana, I think is where it's at, that they're going to put the 10 Commandments back in school. And, there's people that are like, oh, yeah, that's great. But, why not this? Why not put the, Matthew 5 up there, the Beatitudes, or why not do and so it's interesting to me, like my immediate response was, it's about time.
Yeah, like if you look at the 10 Commandments, at the 10 Commandments, I mean, they're pretty basic, just laws of truly living a good life.
Moral compass.
Moral
stuff.
compass, right? So basically, if you look at the 10 commandments, if everyone just kept those 10 basic commandments, there would really be no reason for any law.
Yeah.
Like all these other laws and all these other bylaws and all this other stuff could be all wrapped up under if everyone just followed these 10 steps.
Well, if you use the 10 commandments for a lot of your moral compass and use the Beatitudes for how you treat others, you're doing pretty good.
Problem solved, dog.
You know,
We don't need no laws.
yeah. And I mean, even and I say this all the time to people: like, if you don't believe in God and you read the book just for the history, the stories, and the principle, you're gonna live a better life.
Go in orderly direction.
And well, if you're atheist or agnostic, you wouldn't acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But you would acknowledge a principle, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I think it's a bad idea, no matter what you believe in, to sleep with your neighbor's wife.
Yeah.
Causes some problems.
Yeah.
My neighbors would shoot me dead.
You're gonna have,
You know?
you're gonna have some issues starting
Yeah.
up, man.
And I don't appreciate.
sure.
I wouldn't appreciate them doing that to my wife.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that there is some divide that's good, some separation of that. I'm always amazed though.
Yeah, because I guess if you don't have that separation, you'd be almost being forced into something. And I guess
Well,
you really don't
are,
want
and
to do
defeats
that.
the purpose. I got in a huge argument on abortion with a gal on Facebook, and it's not my direct family. I guess it would be my biological mom's sister-in-law, and she's hardcore Democrat, and people from all over the country were like, I mean, I wasn't scared, but they're like, we're gonna get you kind of type, you know what I mean? People from Arizona and
Better hide your
California.
children.
And so she's like, hey, hold on, you know, like this kid's from Kansas. It's my nephew, kind of, you know, like he's a good guy. He's just misguided, you know, and I'm like, I'm not misguided. I said, what I do believe in is where we live at. And part of the benefit of being American is that you have a lot of freedoms. And if people want to choose that, great, but I don't choose that. And I think that it's un-American for you to try to force me to choose what you believe in.
Yeah, right, exactly,
And-
for sure, man.
And
We
it's
should be
not,
able to create our own path, man. To that point, right?
now, how's that play out? Well, I mean, obviously it's infiltrated everywhere. Huge church bodies have to make decisions. You know, the SBC right now, they voted, for years, they voted that they weren't going to allow women pastors. And I honestly, my personal opinion, I think there's a scripture that supports it. You could look at it lots of different ways. I just personally don't care about stuff like that. It doesn't really have a lot to do with salvation. Those are things that are over my pay grade in the church anyways. But
Staying in my lane.
for years, that's what they did. And then Southern Baptist churches that were part of the SBC were like, well, we don't care what you say. We're going to allow women pastors. We're going to ordain them.
They separated.
Anyways, right? So then a few years ago, the SBC kicked some of those churches out. Now they have this big vote to whether they were just going to go ahead and allow it, right? Now, when I think of those kind of changes, and then you look across it where it goes further than that. So now churches are changing their stances on abortion, on marriage, on sin, basically, to accommodate people. And I think that politics has 100% influenced that. I think that the way that I'm just going to say, I mean, it's propagandized information that we get. And most people don't fact check. Their fact check is, oh, well, CNN said or Fox News said. That's not a very good fact check, really.
Man, I love that one clip, speaking on the media, where they run it. And have you seen that clip where they're all saying the same thing? All the channels.
Oh,
All the channels, man. I wish we could throw it up, man. They're saying like all the same stuff, man. So I'm just like, it doesn't matter what news you're watching. They're pretty much owned, I think, pretty much by the same entities and groups.
well, it's a whole bunch of gazillionaires that
Yeah. So basically, they're all
play golf together and have fancy.
they're all playing golf
Fancy
with Biden and
drinks.
Trump and clowning Biden on his 50-yard drive.
Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That's further than I can drive a golf ball.
I rocked one the other day. What was that? That was last summer. I haven't hit a golf ball since last summer.
Yeah.
And I rocked that thing, man. I used to be pretty good at golf and then just got too pricey for me. So I went to throwing disc.
That's free usually.
Yeah, it's free that way. But I can still,
haven't
if I can
played-
still hit a ball, man. You throw a golf ball in front of me. I didn't hit one for a while. And that was last year. And I rocked that sucker, dude. Straight drive, boom, boom, just gone.
I feel like if I tried, I could be good at it. I don't know. I played baseball. I had a pretty good baseball swing. So if I can angle that down a little bit, maybe. But Yeah, I haven't played golf in 20 years.
Man, we should take you out just see if you can
I
hit.
used
I
to
want to see if you
go.
can hit it farther than 50 yards now. I think this is going to be a.
I think it would be
We'll
fun
put
to
it out
try.
there. Yeah, let's do it.
Let me get my shoulder fixed first.
Do it with one arm, man. Your arms are big. One
Dude, I
arm can
watched
knock
a kid,
it.
and
toward
it's
50.
my left shoulder, and I'm right-handed. But I watched the guy one hand come around with the whip and hit this thing at
Yeah.
the Top Golf or whatever that driver place is,
Yeah.
and just hammered it. You
Oh,
know
yeah.
what I mean?
I say you get at least Alpha Driver, Ryan. I can see you at least getting like 150, 175. Not even on a good hit.
Yeah, I don't
With
know.
one arm. With one arm, sir.
With one arm.
Yeah, with one arm.
Don't bring your good clubs.
I got rid of my clubs. I don't even have no clubs no more. I got rid of them. I gave them to my brother-in-law. Or I sold it to him for like hardly nothing. Yeah. But yeah. But and then speaking, let's go back to abortions here. I seen this thing the other day. I was watching this video, and they had scientifically found where the egg is implanted, the sperm goes into the egg,
Right.
and at that point it lets off like there's an energy there, and they're saying that's when the soul goes inside. Man, I wish we could pull stuff up. We need another guy here, Ryan. Maybe we add that to your job.
Getting another guy.
No, just we need another guy that can like pull this up, because I seen that on a clip, and it was talking about at that exact point, they're saying, life like boom, life starts, and you could see like they could actually see the soul like going into the egg, like it like disperses with some type of energy field or something. You know what I mean? Like they could see it. Yeah, we'll have to look that up. Maybe when we get done here, we'll try to find it or something. Add it to the comments section, maybe,
Yeah,
if I can find it.
post
I don't
a
know.
link.
Yeah, fact check that, but you know what I mean. I think it was probably just a study that had on. I just caught a glimpse of it. Maybe I don't know. Within the last few weeks, I've seen it.
Yeah, I love the good debates. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate them, and I love watching them. I watch a ton of them for lots of different things. I mean, I've watched all the debates they had running up the RNC before Trump was picked as a nominee, and even all the intermingling and fighting inside the Republican Party. It
Yeah.
cracks me up, but it does. It kind of, over the last couple of weeks, we talked a lot about this condition, and these guys are conditioned same as anybody else.
Oh, for sure.
They are.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I think Trump is a little bit abstract on that. He kind of beats his own drum and does his own thing, which I think could be good.
That's why I like Trump. You know what I mean? To the point. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem as polished. And he kind of does his own thing. You can see where he kind of holds ground real hard on his own moral compass and his values and pushes that out. I do like that. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know, man. We all got our downfalls. He's definitely got his, man.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I know I'm not going to be running for president anytime soon, so I don't have to worry about it.
dude, that would be a tough job, you know what I mean, to even go for, because you got to realize they're going to dig into everything, like just bring everything out, you know what I mean? Which is fine. I guess, you can go bring it forth. I got mine out front on a billboard, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
So it wouldn't really matter, you know what I mean? Because I find I find that a lot of the things that I went through that, it's brought me to where I'm at. So I think if you're as coming into that president role, I mean, you guys best be ready for that, you know what I mean? And everything that you've gone through has brought you to this point. You know what I mean? That's why you are so strong. That's why you are who you are, where you're at. It's when they got those hidden things, man, that come to light, come to get you. And like you were talking about Biden, that's kind of why I don't really like him so much, is because you do see him wavering over the years.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever way, and that's why I don't like, you know what I mean? Like if you're changing your moral compass or what you're pushing forward or standing on, and that's just changing with whatever direction the wind blows or the popular vote, that's red flags all day to me, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting if Biden will stick it out. I honestly don't care. I mean,
Yeah.
there's going to be a Republican or a Democrat that goes into office, and hold on either side of that.
Oh, yeah, back to what I was saying earlier. I don't think I got to finish that. what I was thinking when I seen that lady start talking smack, at the end of the debate, when they went to the actual news or whatever, and she was kind of talking smack, and I thought she was talking about Trump, but then she was talking about Biden. It threw me off because normally they're attacking Trump like that.
Yeah.
I was like, man, if this don't look like a setup, you know what I mean? Because like now all of a sudden you're rooting for Trump. You know what I mean? You're not slamming him. It's like, so maybe I'm like, well, maybe they're trying, maybe Trump sold out and now they're trying to, Trump just got all those 34 felonies or whatever.
Yeah.
And now he's all like, well, now if you play your cards right, we'll get you in office. You play the game with us. We'll go ahead and allow that appeal to go through and we'll go ahead and whop out all those felonies you just picked up. You know what I mean? So they got something on him. But then I'm all like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Because then you start thinking about, too, because then I heard wind, like that Newsom dude or whatever out of California.
Oh, gosh.
Like they're just letting this play out. Trump's going against Biden. Then all of a sudden, they just pull Biden and they throw in Newsom or, some younger guy, like I was saying, to go against Trump. And then everyone votes for him.
Yeah. So
at the last minute.
I don't know how.
Man.
So there's a lot that plays into that. You have to be on the ticket by a certain date, or there's
don't they have until the Democratic Convention? I think the DNC, is that what they call it?
So, well,
I'm learning here, Ryan. DNC,
yeah,
yeah, right.
The DNC, and
right.
I think that's coming up sometime here soon. But
I think in August was what I heard from.
So
yesterday.
Biden, there for a while, there was talk that he wouldn't even be on the ballot in Ohio because his party waited too long to get him on. For the state, and that might have just been the preliminary, whatever it's called, deal. But I don't know. I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. I just remember briefly seeing that, and I kind of chuckled and moved on to the next thing because I really don't pay a lot of attention to what Biden's doing, except for the gaffes that and I do. I watch a little bit of Fox News, a little bit of CNN, a little bit of MSNBC. I'm talking like 10 or 15 minutes a day total of those.
Yeah.
I found some good Christian news networks that I like. They're nationalist, which is okay. I'm not a nationalist. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself that. But I do like their morality and their take on a lot of things. I don't know. I am not the type of person that thinks the church or churches need to go march the streets and take stances on things. I don't think that that's a good way to lead by example. I think that that's looks more condemning and judgmental. Now, inside the church, if somebody comes to me and says, well, I believe in God and I do these things and they're caught up in a grievous sin, then I have a job to pull them aside privately and say something to them. But I don't have a right to attack them publicly.
Yeah, no, that's not how you do it.
As an individual person. Now, I think that there is some places where it is necessary. I think that if it's a political leader, that's not a place where, if you're their friend and you all are going to church together, you take them aside and say something. There's a lot more at stake here. You know what I'm saying? There is. I think if it's a church leader, there's a lot at stake here. That's not something that should be done in private because of their position. It would be like if a school teacher was doing something bad to a student, but you really like the teacher and they're actually a really good teacher. So you say, all right, well, you need to get your life together and we're not going to say or do anything. I mean, I'm just saying, like, to me, principally, like, that's the kind of stuff that's going on that's not being aired out in public. And I think if people really knew what a lot of these heads of businesses and politicians were really up to, a lot of them would be in prison. Yeah. And so I just stay out of that world. Like I said, it's all amusing to me.
Yeah, true.
But where do we play a role in that? I mean, I don't even know. I've never really voted for big government stuff.
No.
Local stuff only. Anything inside my state.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Like, you know what I mean? Like the concern should be more of your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Of your community, and then allow that to spring forward and create ripples, moving out. And that big government, man, I really don't even see much of a use for the big government, tell you the truth, man, my own personal opinion.
I mean, I think there was a purpose for a tiny bit of oversight, and now it's all oversight and all control. And, it's just gotten too big and there's too many. I mean, I don't even know. They have an office for everything,
Yeah.
and that's crazy to me.
Even the other days,
We couldn't understand the dollars involved in this.
yeah, dude, it's unreal,
I
man.
mean, I don't even know what the debt is. I don't keep a lot of track of it, but
Oh, it's crazy though.
I was watching.
No, it's unreal.
I was watching a stupid podcast. I think everybody's heard of Mr. Beast. And so he said, you start counting, and whenever you decide to, for every number you count, I'll give you $1. Okay.
Oh, I've seen
and
that.
when you stop counting, that's the amount of money I'll give you. And so they're
They had to
interviewing.
stay in this little area.
I think so, possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had to maybe
they couldn't
stay in
go
the bed.
out of this. They gave them like this little area.
But if you
to count the
counted
money.
fast, it would take you 40 days to count to 1 million.
Yeah.
40 days if you count fast. And that's all the further I watched it. I mean, I saw that and I was like, huh. I mean, I think I'd probably get to like 150, be like, I'm out.
I got things to do.
Yeah. And then you start thinking about 40 days. I won't make $1 million in 40 years.
Man.
And you think about the perseverance that it actually takes to do that on the small scale. It's like, it's only 40. I'm 44 years old. 40 days ain't nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, yeah. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's been wild, dude. This month's been crazy.
Yeah. It's getting wild, man. It's gonna
So
get
last
gonna
time
get a
we were
little
on here
wilder,
right before we checked out last time, you were getting ready to run long ways.
Oh yeah. You want to talk about that?
I do want to talk about it. We talked about it a little bit yesterday.
Yeah. Well,
I
yeah.
thought the conversation went good. I don't think it's necessarily you're able to go right back to the way it went yesterday, but I think we could touch on it.
Yeah, we can touch on it. Well, yeah, I had the 100-mile race that I was pumped to go to, and you know what's crazy too. Now I'll touch on. I don't know if I should touch on this or not, man. I'm not even know if I'm ready to unpack that yet. That's still in the thought process. I'm not even going to talk about that actually, but you know, I had the 100-mile race, and I go to it. You know what I mean? And started off really well. And kicked off, I think, at 6 a.m. or something. We started running and woke up here. We had a drive. I think it was a couple hours to get there. So, I mean, we were on the road by, I think, 3 o'clock in the morning and 3:30. So early morning.
Yeah.
And no sleep. You know what I mean? That night before, it's like, you're making sure everything's ready. You're good to go. And just your nerves, you're getting that almost that flight mode, you know what I mean? That survival instincts start kicking in, man. And it's like, you don't sleep. So I don't sleep at all. Maybe a couple, 3 hours worth of sleep, man, if that. And wake up, no sleep, get in the car, head there. But, I'm feeling good, man, feeling pretty charged up. And we start the race. And going good, man. I mean, knocking out some good times. The weather wasn't real hot then. It was feeling pretty good. But then, man, it started heating up on that race, man. It got hot. And the way the race worked, it was basically you start and you go on these dirt roads, nice and hilly.
Yeah.
And you run out for, maybe it was a 7.7 mile loop. So you run out about 3 miles on these dirt roads. And like I said, some good hills on those. And then boom, you get kicked out on this blacktop. And then you run this blacktop probably, well, I bet it's about a mile down. And then you get on this main blacktop. And then you run this blacktop all the way back into town, which is, roughly probably a little 3+ miles. And then you run back to the aid station. So all in all, about 7.7. And man, as that day went on, it just started heating up. We had the hottest day of the year so far that day.
Yeah.
I think it got up to 90-some degrees that day. So it was cooking. Humidity was intense. There was no air, man. No wind at all. And even the guy that organizes this race, I mean, he's a freaking badass. And he's ran I think this was like his 105th 100-miler race he's ran. And so he was even saying, like, normally you at least have that wind, like, at your face a little bit. So, you stay cool on that blacktop. And, dude, it was just a scorcher. And I even looked at my buddy and was like, man, this blacktop here today is going to take some souls, man. And, dude, it was bad. And, so, I'm running. We're doing good. Obviously, with the heat getting up, and I haven't really acclimated to that hot temperatures quite yet. My pulse rate was running a little higher than what I would want. at a 100-mile race.
Right.
And it was my first one too. So either way, but I'm going at about mile 30 something. I can't really remember 30 something, dude. My leg starts feeling very awkward, man, and not in a good way. It was not a very good comfort. So, but I keep going, at about mile 40, I don't know, 40, 48, 46, somewhere in there, mile 46. I can't really remember, something like that. Dude, my knee completely locks up. Like that thing will not move. And it's just not moving. It just wasn't there. I could not bend my knee. There's that muscle that's like right behind your knee. You can feel it's almost like a diamond type shape, triangle type shape. Dude, that thing had flared up so bad that it was not allowing my leg to bend.
Ugh.
Like I was having to force that thing to bend, and then it got so bad where it was so swollen that it wouldn't even bend. So I straight leg it back to the aid station, the camp or whatever.
Right.
And I take a break. I sit down, and I'm just like, I don't know that I can continue. You know what I mean? Like I can't bend my leg. And so I got this baseball out. I'm driving this baseball in the back of my leg, working that muscle. I popped a little ibuprofen, trying to get the inflammation down, and just working it.
Yeah.
And I get a call from I think you even sent me a text at that moment too there. And so I got your text, which was uplifting for sure. And then a buddy of mine reached out to me and, just told me to go up, I kind of told him what I was going through. And he's like, man, I feel you getting a second leg. He's like, what you got to do? He's like, you get up. He's like, you go into that aid station. He's like, well, you got a knee brace? And I was like, dude, no. I was like, I'm a little unprepared. I didn't have a knee brace, no nothing. I'm like, nah, man, I didn't think about my knees going, starting to go out on me like that. And he's like, go in there. He's like, you ask somebody for a knee brace and see if anyone's got one. Well, I go in there and nobody has one. And so then this lady comes back out and she's like, well, you know what? I live down the street. I got an Ace bandage wrap.
Yeah.
She's like, would you like It's like, if you don't mind, yeah. I mean, I'm not going nowhere. I'm sitting right here for the moment. So yeah, go get that thing. So she goes, grabs Ace bandage. My buddy's still on the phone, and he's like, all right, when she gets that Ace bandage back, you wrap that thing around that leg just tight, get it good, tight, snug on that leg. And he's like, and then you start taking steps, and every step you take, he's like, I want you to thank God for that step. And then at that same time you're taking that step, thanking God for that step, I want you to ask God for another step.
Right.
And then he's like, and you do that until you can't step no more. And that's exactly what I did. And I should have started doing that earlier on in the race, man. I wish I would have started doing that a little earlier in the race. That's excellent advice, actually. So I wrap this thing up, and I'm like, do you got any duct tape? Because obviously you're running, and I'm like, you got some duct tape to wrap this thing in. And all they had was like this like 3-inch piece of duct tape. That's all they had there. So I tear the duct tape long ways into two, make two little strips on this thing and tighten it around my leg. And then boom, I'm off, man. I'm going. And I ran up to just over 100, just at about 100K. I made it about 2 more laps. Yeah. And I think I was like 45, 48. I can't really remember where I was. I know I made two laps. So I was right at that like 61 mile mark.
Yeah.
That 100K. I can't remember what 100K is, but I think it's around that 61.5 or something like that. You'd have to look it up, but somewhere around that. And so that Ace bandage had completely fell off. The duct tape quit working, and my leg had locked up again. Yeah. And it was coming into that second one. I had, my leg went out again at that same exact spot on that bridge, which is probably just close to a mile away from the first aid. That's where it kept going out at that same spot every time. I completely lock up where I couldn't move it. So then I have to straight leg it all the way back. And then I get back, I throw ice on it. I lay down for a little bit. My wife showed up, my wife does an amazing freaking job at helping at these things, man. She had the van, she had a little cot in the back, for rest. So I lay on that cot for a little bit, get some ice on it, start the process over again. And, got the Ace bandage back on, kind of tucked that in. And then I started off again, I was like, well, I can still walk because I got it moving again.
Yeah.
And then in the back of my head, I kept telling myself, if my knee goes out during that dirt road, it's just going to be over. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I started out again. I made it probably a mile down that dirt road, and that sucker. Well, the ace bandage already fell off my leg again because I didn't have the duct tape. It kept coming off, and I'm tucking it in. It was driving me nuts. It was just like what will go wrong went wrong in that aspect, and it just had so much coming at me. And I just couldn't overcome my body. My basically my body gave out on me, man. My knee quit working. And so then at that point, gave out on that dirt road. And it was just like, there's just those emotions that overcome you that, you're just basically defeated. And
oh, yeah.
And it's just like all that just sets in. It's just like, because
the reality of everything kind of set in.
Well, yeah, because you're at that moment. And, I'm at that point, I'm looking at my watch. I'm at 62 and a half miles. I'm sitting here thinking like, I got a PB. It's my personal best. I made it to that point. You know what I mean? I wanted to, obviously my knee definitely quit working at that 40 some mileage. And I've done, almost 20, about 20 more miles. And then what my body even wanted to do. And then I'm like, to complete 100, I got, almost 40 more miles to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, will this leg hold up? And in that moment, it's like, you're just so fatigued, so tired, which that doesn't bother me much. Cause that's just part of it. That's what I like about that. Yeah. I like having to overcome that, but then, that knee issue and how much do I want to push that to where, if I push that and that muscle explodes,
you're looking at long-term injury.
Yeah. Cause that could happen. That back of that knee could explode. And then, and then I'm down. It's not like I'm getting paid to do this stuff either. Yeah. So it's like, then I have medical expenses on top of that and everything else. So it was like, I think I walked away, man. And that hurt, man. It did hurt. Yeah. It doesn't hurt as much now, but as it did, it took me a while. It took me a couple weeks
in
to
the
come
moment.
out.
I'm sure it did. Yeah.
It was so bad.
Especially you're right there. You have your buddy that's racing still. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I was actually even talking to my buddy right there because he was already a lap ahead of me at that point because I was having so many dang issues. So he was 7 miles ahead of me. Mm-hmm. And I had taken out and then he took out and then I took out. So I caught up with him on that one. And so we were actually walking together talking. And then I remember even, after the race, a couple of days, he'd asked me, he's like, man, when did you drop out? He's like, because I remember talking to you and then we just looked around and you were gone.
Yeah.
And in that moment, you know what I mean? Because in that moment, I don't want to be that buzz killer for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, you know what I mean? We're talking and then I just, it's the middle of dark, can't see nothing anyways. And dude, my knee just locked up and it's not like I'm going to be like, hey guys, hold on, wait for me. My knee locked up again. We're going to have to give me a minute. It's just like, they're in their own battle too. And it's like, I have to just, I just was like, I just stopped. I couldn't go, man. My knee quit working and wouldn't operate. And that back of that muscle it didn't hold up, man. It just didn't hold up. Yeah. So I had to turn around and walk off, man. Learned a lot that day, man. But at the same time, it's like, how do you fail? You know what I mean? Because in that moment, I was like, what am I even doing out here? You know what I mean? Like afterwards, like, man, I'm done. Yeah. Like, this is stupid. Like, you know what I mean? You have those thought processes coming through.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I couldn't even do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's really going on? And then it's like, then you have to, you get some time to reflect on that and think on that. And it's just like, man, I just gotta get better, man. I just gotta stand back up and just stay after it. So, so I got back on, I couldn't run, and then what's even harder in that is that all the training and all the work that goes into that, man. You train a lot. Like I'm talking like 8 to 10 hours a week, putting into running and lifting and swimming and you name it. And you're just putting in so much work for that. And then you go out there and then that happens. But then it's like, oh man. But then you have all that pain even afterwards. Like your body hurts.
Well, I think, was it like a week after you sent me a picture of your foot that was still all bruised up?
Oh, yeah, dude, my feet are still nasty. Yeah, that's
always, never not running.
Yeah, so it's like, so it's like, yeah, my feet are jacked, my legs hurt, my complete body hurts, and then I don't even get that satisfaction of the completion of what I set forth, that goal. You know what I mean? That's what I thrive for, is to get to that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then that feeling is just so overwhelming. It's just like, and that's what that's what I drive on. You know what I mean? And I did not get there. And I still had the same pains, the same hurts, and just my body's annihilated, man.
Definitely in the moment, I could see that. But I think, sitting here in hindsight, then you got to go back and look and say, I mean, all the benefits that you gain from it almost, in a sense, outweigh not making the 100 miles. You set your personal best for distance by 10 miles.
I don't know if they outweigh it, but yeah. Yeah, I see
if you would have finished,
in my mind, I'm just like, yeah.
The reason I say that, one, is because you're able to keep going.
Yeah.
Right? So the unknown is the worst part. I mean, that's where the things is like, man, well, if I'd have done, and it's hard. I think we get stuck there. I get stuck there like that, if there's a situation, because the principle is the same no matter how you look at it. So now you're caught up in this moment right there in the fact, and I could see how that would be devastating. Yeah. And you could apply that to so many things. I mean, whatever you put your heart and soul into, and I mean, it's such life's just an amazing journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not a lot of people that can say, I ran 65 miles 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a real thing. Now, if you get on and look, there's actually, after I met you and, started looking into the running stuff and, checking out some of the races that you and Chase run and what's going on across the country, I'm like super amazed at the traction that these endurance runners actually have. There's a lot more than I would have ever anticipated.
Yeah.
And there's like these huge races where, well, I mean, you think like go to extreme. So you got like the Boston Marathon where thousands of people are running this thing, of course, because of the name. Not everybody's trying to get a good time though. They're just doing it to say they did it. But when you get in these little races, I think everybody out there's showing what it takes. I mean, it's amazing to me. I don't know.
Oh, it's unreal. Like that's what I always say. Like if anybody I know, like if you even go out there and sign up and you show up and you line up on that start line,
it's a huge deal.
Knowing what you're going to have to go through, like it's a true test of endurance, man. Like you will, like I'm goosebumping up, man. Like it is a true test of the mind, the body, the soul. I mean, everything that you are, you know what I mean? You have to line up, and everything that you aren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're about to just go. You're about to wreck everything about you, man.
Well,
you're
it
about
hits
to
you on
wreck.
so many different levels.
Dude, you will have waves of emotions. Man.
Yeah, it does. It's
Like, you'll
it's
be
a mental,
highs,
emotional,
lows.
physical, spiritual. It's 100%.
Dude, and what you have to endure to get through that process, and that's why I say I love that ending, just that feeling that you get from that. But even not even after that though. Like you said, Ryan, I do like what you say. Just the process itself.
Yeah.
The like I say, all the training that goes into effect, man. Yeah. How much of a better person I am because of what I put myself through to get to those levels.
Yeah, there's not very many people are going to wake up on a Thursday and say, well, I'm going to run 100K this weekend, no training. Even if they're in good shape, say they go to the gym, they get on a treadmill, they swim, they lift weights, and they're in good physical shape. The likelihood of them going out and running 100 miles is, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, what's the over under on that? 1 in 10,000. I mean, just saying.
Yeah, there is some that do it. I've seen, but but there's some legit dudes though.
10,000 people. Say there's 10,000 people actively doing this, and a guy shows up.
Maybe one person. I bet maybe one out of that 10,000.
Yeah.
You're probably right. Yeah.
And
something like that.
I don't know. I know David Goggins at Motivational in excellent shape, and like he'd ran an endurance race, and I can't remember how far it was.
That guy's crazy.
Well, he is crazy.
He's something else. Man. I love that.
And in the end of it, like he had broken feet, and he kept going, and all these things, and of course he's got other factors that can encourage. I'm not going to go down that road, but anyways. So, what was the benefit for him to do that? I mean, is he trying to achieve some personal thing? There's so many things when I look at that guy, what was involved in that. And is it remarkable? Absolutely. I get 100% credit for that. But at the same time, I'm like, that was stupid. I mean, at the point of that it's MMA, the guys that say they deliver a kick and they break their foot and then they go 3 more rounds. In my head, I'm like, I feel like you've done more damage than good at certain points.
But I think but when you begin to tackle such events, you know what I mean, in your life, and you try to accomplish such things, it's almost like you have to have that mentality on the table. Like, it doesn't matter what happens, I'm moving forward. Like, no matter what happens, I'm going to have to come with some type of plan, some type of attack in that moment to overcome it, and, you know, do better, and keep moving forward. And then until you can't, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Until you can't.
No, I get it.
Because I mean, that's what I tell myself too. It's like I just went until I could not take another step,
Absolutely.
and then the leg just would not work,
Yeah.
and that's what I had to do.
I think that's how we're supposed to do it.
Like, and I think, and if I think I would have bounced out at that mile 38, you know what I mean? Oh, that would have hurt me bad. You know what I mean? So I got up and I did 20 more.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just went until my leg just wouldn't move no more. That thing was it was bad on the backside, man. That thing was swollen, nasty.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was.
It was tough, man.
I'm sure it was.
But then in the process too, Ryan, I wonder too if somehow, like, in that, you know, I might be just, you know, no one's harder on you than yourself,
there's no
obviously.
way.
So it's like in that moment, I'm like, man, maybe I gave myself the out.
Yeah.
And was like, if this thing gets so bad, I'm just going to have to stop.
I think that you gave yourself a sensible decision that prevented further mechanical injury
harm.
or
but did I allow that? But did that thought process go into that? Then my body was like, oh, we can just make this thing flare up so bad that then he'll have to stop, and we won't have to take so much pain and hurt right at the moment.
I weigh into that a lot more in the last few years than I ever have. And I think that there's a fickle line that has to be established. If you think something over time, you're going to believe it. I don't dispute that. Now, how long does that take effect? I think it's case by case basis. So in your case, you acknowledge at 38 miles, I was already pretty jacked up.
Yeah.
But I went 20 more. So I think at 38, you pushed yourself.
Well, I went 38, 48, 50. I even went farther than that. Well, at 40, at 45 is when it completely locked up. At 38, I knew I was uncomfortable.
Right.
35-ish.
So I'm just saying. So at 38, you've acknowledged the fact of that something's not right.
Yeah.
And then you kept going. So you pushed yourself past the comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
You went into the other side of, you know, physicality and mentality and spirituality to keep pushing yourself through that. And I think that that's where it proves your endurance.
Yeah.
Right. So in a way, like I know that you set out. So it's like, all right, so I got this many hours to run 100 miles. I'm going to run 100 miles. And this is my goal. I want to do it in less than the time allotted. Pretty simple, right? In the math part of it. I've trained well. I've been out. I've been getting, you know, I ran 52 or 50. Was it 52 or 55 last year that you ran? That was your
farthest I went was 52 and a half miles.
Yeah, so you've increased your personal best now by 13 miles.
Yeah.
And I mean, all these things, I'm just like, I mean, all I hear is like win, 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 win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
boom, L.
And your focus is, well, I didn't make the 100 miles. And I get that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, now, you know, you're going to be, well, I think personally now you'll be over prepared for the next one. Probably show up with a crutch and all kinds of stuff. But like, I'm finishing this son of a bitch, you know? I just am. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think over prepared is better than under prepared. I don't think that you went into it under prepared because you can't.
I don't think you could be prepared for a 100-miler race. Like, I don't think you could do enough
be as
preparation
prepared as you can be.
That's what I mean. I don't think there's no amount of anything that's going to prepare yourself to line up on a line and then run out 100 miles, dude. Like, there's and I think that's what's so great about them too, those real long distances. It's like, you just don't know what's going to happen out there. Like, you know, and I follow a lot of guys that do this. I mean, they're just awesome. And those guys don't complete them at times.
Oh,
and those guys run miles upon miles, and they're placing, they're doing wonderful things
when you look
out there. And there's times where they don't even make it.
Yeah, and say they run, they might be running 10 or 12 or 14 races a year.
Yeah.
You know, one a month or something like that, or two. And not all of them 100 miles, but 50, 60, 70 miles or K, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you'll see the same name across them, and a few times they're like top 10 finishes, and then the next time you look and they're like 84.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or they don't finish. They get the DNF, man. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so there is that. I don't know.
So it's just like Indian, it just wasn't my day, man. And like I said, things just kept going wrong, and I kept on trying to bounce back, and ultimately,
Just
man,
never got to that point. Yeah.
yeah. But like you said, though, I take it back, and I did fail there. Or I don't know, but I wouldn't call it a loss. Or I might have lost there, but I didn't fail. I don't know how you want to word that.
I
had it worded pretty good yesterday when we were talking, but I
have
can't
such a hard time.
can't think of it in the moment.
I think the idea of did not finish on one end sounds better than lose.
Yeah.
But on the other end, it's like, if I finished and I lost, I still finished. You know what I mean? I didn't make the podium. I didn't get a belt buckle. I only got the hand me out that everybody gets to. You know what I mean?
Participation trophy.
Yeah, I get the participation trophy. I don't even go down that road.
Yeah, for real though. But on those levels though, I mean, if you're finishing that, I mean, yeah, you get something. Yeah, I mean, like, dude, hats off to you. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, you think about it, and let's change gears a little bit. I mean, we're going to use this as our example, but you're looking at this. I think it's extreme race. It's extreme challenge.
Yeah.
And so in our life, we're going to face these over and over and over again. And so here again, like this principle happens, like, all right, I'm going to use the knowledge I gained. I'm going to use every aspect of this 63 miles that I ran, and even now, like when you go back, like you could probably recollect a lot of the footsteps you took to get to the point of everything. So the footsteps I took to get to the point of even being able to run 100 miles, which has taken you probably a couple of years of hard training and going through it, and psychological battles and emotional and spiritual. And I mean, it never ends. And so it's just like anything, your whatever goal you set, once you set that goal, if it's a true goal, there's going to be hurdles to jump.
Oh, for sure there is.
Yeah. And I find myself, I get complacent so easily with things because I'm fine being alone. I don't require a lot of stuff. I mean, it's just my nature. And so when I'm up against it, like I set these goals, and if I don't get it, I'm just kind of like, better luck next time. It's not. Dude,
it eats at me, man.
I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's like I can just move on from it.
Yeah.
In a different aspect, even on things I'm good at. You know what I mean? So whatever my gifts are, I think we're born with gifts, and I think we're indwelled with gifts when we become indwelled with the Holy Spirit. So then it creates challenges for us, and then at the same time, even Satan's going to work on you because he knows that for you, running is an avenue to spread the gospel. And it gives you an opportunity to intermingle with people that you wouldn't sit at their table probably. Not because you don't like them or anything. It's just because they live 5 hours away.
Yeah, right.
And the only time you see them is at these races. You develop rapport with them. And then all of a sudden you get to share your story and you get to share your testimony. And God's going to place you in this perfect moment of time and you get to have this chance to respond. So I see where that you're up against those things, not just your physicality.
Yeah.
Because of your nature. Right. See what I'm driving at?
I do. Yeah.
And I don't know, this month I've really looked so hard, and for the next 2 weeks I'll be reading about ensoulment. Unfortunately, I pulled it up while we're sitting here, and I'm just like, oh my God, Wikipedia is 12 pages.
Yeah.
But this thing that happens to us when we recognize our achievements feels so good. But on the other side of that, when our focus, and it kind of goes back to even that stupid movie from Disney, here we have this seemingly well-balanced cartoon character that has all this great stuff going. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And we get in this slummy feeling spot.
See, true, yeah. It's like we started off this podcast. It's like you have to maintain that joy.
Yeah,
you have to keep on working towards and maintaining that joy, and that joy is a gift too. Yeah. I would look at it as a gift, man, and I don't know, and it's like in that moment too. Like I've also mentioned, it's that process, man. I think I love that process more so than that in fact, because I'm sitting here thinking just over this last month, you know what I mean? Since I ran that race, like I had a kid reach out to me the other day. I even posted it on my Facebook. My nephew reached out.
Right.
And he knows I've been running, and he's
Dante.
Yes,
Yeah.
And he's even started running, and that's that encouragement that he's getting. And he reaches out to me, and he's like, "Hey, Uncle Ryan, man, I want to go for a."
I think that was definitely a God thing.
And yeah, he's like, "I want to go for a PR today, man. You think you could help me out with that? Yeah. You want to come run with me?" And I was like, I do, man. And then, dude, it was so hot that day. Hey, it was like he hit me up, man. It's like I don't even know. It had to have been like close to 100 degrees that day. And we're out there running in the hottest temps of the day in the Kansas heat. And I mean, we're putting it on the line. And this kid at, 4 miles, and I think his PB before that was like 4 miles, I think 4 miles.
Really?
And we hit that 4 mile mark, and he wanted to quit, and he was done. We only had so much water, and I went and bought him a little water jug before the run.
Yeah.
And he had that, and I knew he was drinking his water a little heavy, so I wasn't drinking mine, so I knew he was going to need it. So he tossed his at 4. He was out, and I'm like, dude, I got you water, man. We're pushing through. This is where it counts, man. If we're going for PBs, I mean, we're going to have to really dive in deep, and we're just going to have to keep moving, buddy. So I was like, let's just go.
Well,
and he was like, bet.
What it really takes to do some of this.
Yeah.
That kid's athetic.
Yeah.
He's a wrestler. He runs all the time.
Oh, yeah.
There's such a difference. I mean, you think about the longevity that it takes to do. I mean, there's so much that goes to it. And it is interesting because in the Bible, it talks a lot about running races. It talks about endurance, and it talks about this. And so this overarching principle applies to so many aspects. And I love that you focus a lot of it on this particular thing. So when you look at it, you're looking at it in a broad aspect, but your focus is this health. It's not just to go out and win races to be healthy. It's to push yourself to a limit of uncomfortability and to be able to say, all right, here's my line, and I just went past it 10 steps. Yep. Here's my line. I just went past it 20 steps. Now I'm going to move my line a little. You know what I'm saying?
And keep moving that line.
Uncomfortability, and it allows you to go do things and go into places that you wouldn't go before.
Right.
And so, I don't know, last month a guy called me, and it was kind of a funny conversation, but he's like, hey, you want to come work at the prison? And I was like, well, I'm not really. I've never been there. I don't want to start now. He's like, oh, you'd make this, great peer mentor. And I started weighing the options of it, because I was like, I believe I could probably help some people there. I don't know how I'd relate to them because I've never been to prison. And these aren't guys that are getting out. These are guys that are doing life sentences that are trying to stay sober in prison. Okay.
Which is harder and harder to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I know guys right now, since we're on that, I know guys that are having to get out of prison in order to get clean.
Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, well, I'd probably get high if I was in prison. I don't know what I would do. I don't want to go to prison, so I'm going to stay out of there. But when I started thinking about it,
right there, I would hope if you're in prison, Ryan, if you go to prison, that you're working in such a way to better yourself and not get high.
I think I'm going to do that before I get there.
Don't get high if you go to prison, Ryan.
I'm not going to go to prison.
Let's do better, especially if you find yourself in prison, dude.
I don't like giving my money to the police. No matter how good I do in life, I still don't like to give my money to them. But then it wasn't the idea of, legitimately, like, would I really be able to help those guys in a fashion? Because it's a peer mentor job. So when I think peer mentor, it'd be like, well, you kind of have to go through the same thing these people have gone through. But then fear crept in, and I was like, what if I'm in there and there's a riot? What if I see someone I know that doesn't like me, And I have those people. 20 years ago, there was an incident that happened.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a guy in prison that got 25 to life because he killed somebody. You know what I mean? And somehow I got wrapped up in this because I knew him and knew where he was, blah, 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 and the cops had come. And I don't know. I don't like being labeled a snitch, but I'm like, this dude killed somebody. That's not like I bought drugs from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you definitely crossed a line there.
He's had
20, and it wasn't in self-defense, man. You purposely
he did it on purpose to rob him and do that. And
intentively
and in my
went
head,
out to kill somebody.
I'm like, well, it's been 20 years now, so he's got a minimum of 5 left. And I think about it and I said, I mean, if the roles were reversed, then I got 25 years to think about that, and I'm probably going to be pretty pissed when I get out. You know what I mean? What if I run across that guy in there? It's hard to say.
Yeah, you never know which way they're going to go.
So then now I have this.
Of
I
course,
think it's a healthy fear. I'm not disputing it's a healthy fear to be aware of those things.
yeah, that heightened anxiety a little bit. You know what I
is
mean?
it-
There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
Well, I think it's a fight or flight awareness.
Yeah.
But is it going to be
Superpower.
so overpowering to keep me from even considering going to do that job? You know? And at the end of the day, it really does. It boils down. I mean, I made a list. I wrote about it. I reached out to a lot of people. And I just think I'm better suited to help people that are more similarly paralleled with what I've gone through. And if I'd done even a minimal amount of time in prison to understand that world, then maybe I could be a benefit. You know what I mean? I've done some bad stuff in my life that I should have gone to prison for, but that doesn't change the fact that I've never been. I could relate to the aggravation and the anger and the fighting and the hurting people, you know, all these things. I can get that and help them through this, and I can understand drug addiction, but the way the world works in there is so different than anything I've ever been accustomed to in my life. Not that the world, I mean, I don't even know what the world is now. It's it cracks me up a little bit, you know. I mean, we were like raised in this cusp of big change, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, I keep leaning more into that simulation as far as the world, how the world is. Dude, like even after those debates, I'm like more and more, I'm just like, man, I think we just might be in just this big old huge simulation. But
Yeah, there's parts of me that go down that rabbit hole that there's a kink in the matrix, especially when it's like
I just see the weirdest stuff. It's over and over
Yeah.
again. I'm like, man, like
well then play the Truman Show into that, you know what I mean?
yeah,
That, like
exactly.
all this stuff is and it is, but everything is moving so much faster than it ever has, you know. I'm not a fan of AI. Even when I get on here on the Google, it pops up some AI BS, and I'm just I don't even know how to take that off. But Trish and I were watching a show yesterday, and it was they were interviewing live people, and you could tell that it was live. And then all of a sudden, it was kind of like a shift. I mean, the color tones were different, and both of us kind of perked up and realized like that was AI'd. In the middle of this show, in the middle of this interview, this part of it, you could legitimately tell
The AI
that it
just
was
kicked in.
computer AI generated part. And so we have to start, well, why would, you know, and like, well, maybe something happened, and, you know, but then all of a sudden now though, they get to make those people say what they want them to say.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
So
I do.
it really, it bugs me. So then now our pursuit of truth has changed.
Yeah.
Because of the way we get our information.
Discernment comes into
Yeah.
even more so.
Well, even look at the Bible, the translations, how they've changed over the years.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people hold on to the King James, because it hasn't changed in whatever, 1600 when it was written. So, you know, 600 years, whatever it is, that it's been basically the same text. But, I mean, you could go back before that, you know, it doesn't matter. But there's an evolution to things. And everybody, it's almost like, well, here we have this good thing, but I want to make it better. When you should have just left the original alone,
Could've just
right?
left it. Right,
I could
man.
make it better.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I think about that too. Like if we're going to go into text and stuff like that, I think we've mentioned it on previous podcasts too, or at least I have. It's like, you know, when they all got together and they're going through all the books and all the text,
Yeah.
and then, you know, why would they take out certain books and certain scripture and verses and
Right.
text? You know what I mean? And instead of just putting it together and allowing us, you know, to read it
Well, so as Protestants,
and have
we've
access to that.
we've been conditioned to the idea of,
That frustrates me.
huh?
I said that frustrates me.
Well, it does, and it's hard to undo. I've been undoing it over the last few years and expanding. I mean, I don't know.
And then okay, and then this,
That's a big rabbit hole.
yeah, and then like this here, like say you go over to Ethiopia because there's so much text over there. I mean, that's like, to me, that would be almost where the beginning of creation was started, was to be that area.
That area, absolutely.
So you go over there, and then you have all these like chief priests or whatever, you know what I mean, the holy men or however you want to say. And I mean, those areas are cut off from civilization. Like those people, like that guy, the chief elder, whatever, he's the only one that's allowed in there.
And just to clarify, we're talking about Ethiopian Orthodox Christians,
yeah, so
not random
Right. So
We're
imagine
talking about Christians.
So imagine all this text and all these books that they have there, right? And then they come out and then they release one, or we get to see one, and then they're like, well, we can't consider that because it's not in the scripture.
Well,
see, that would be
there's a lot to that.
To me, that frustrates me too, because I mean, I don't know.
That's where you gotta go past your point of comfortability and say, all right,
well, I'm
gonna step outside of my theological box, and I'm gonna go down this other road for a while and see where it takes me. And I'm going to test the spirits, and I'm going to pray about it, and I'm going to communicate it to other people. There again, so depending on who you try to communicate to, you communicate to a lot of Protestant pastors, and they say, 66 books.
Yeah.
Well, my wife's Orthodox, and hers is 80 something, and the last book in the Old Testament isn't Malachi, it's Daniel.
Yeah.
And for 2 years, I wouldn't even take that book out. I wouldn't even take that book out of the box. and I don't know. It was But that did open my eyes, and meeting her dad opened my eyes, and talking to other Orthodox Christians opened my eyes. And then, I mean, this change started happening inside of me. So there is merit to other writings. Now, I could go on and give the history of how they get to this point. So now here we are in 2024, and we're left with a lot of versions. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And you can even look across my bookcase. I have 7 different translations up there,
And usually like when I love the Bible ref, you know what I mean? Like even this morning I was looking,
it gives a bunch.
Yeah, and I was looking at verses, and then you can pull up that verse, and it gives you a verse, translated in, well, you got right there in the palm of your hand. I can look at, 20 different translations like right there, and then kind of read through them, and it's like, man,
we had a brief conversation about it. We were doing a Bible study kind of deal, just a Sunday school type class for 6 weeks out at church. And towards the end, you got to ask questions. And it was interesting because our pastor uses NASB, which I love. It's similar to ESV. My wife uses New King James. And there's a few people that use the Old King James. And so there was a conversation about, and it comes down to preference. But at the end of the day, if you're doing legitimate study, you should study through more than one.
Yeah.
Because it brings out different contexts. I love the New Living Translation because of its readability.
Yeah.
So if I just want to read, I go straight to the NLT.
Yeah.
Now I'm quite comfortable with it because my dad had a Living Bible and a King James Bible. And if he just wanted to read and not study, he would read his Living Translation. So I grew up having these two in my house. So it was an easy transition to the New Living Translation. When I got my first NIV Bible, I kind of did some research on it, and I was like, no, I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. And then, I don't know, I ran across the Passion Translation, and I was just sick,
That's a totally different ballgame.
Oh, it is, but there's so many of them out there. I mean, we were in a class here a few weeks ago, and someone brought up, have you seen the Gen Z Bible? And I said, excuse me, what?
That's real? I thought that was a joke.
No.
Because somebody had said that to me the other day. I thought it was a joke.
I mean, it is a joke.
I mean,
it's a real thing. It's
like they translated it. Yeah, I thought it was just like a humor, like kind of making fun.
So
of
not only do they change words to make them more appealing to that generation, they change context and the meaning behind some things. So obviously, I mean.
Yeah, but you could, not to defend the Gen Z by no means, because I read that and I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was a joke. It's hilarious. Can't believe it's real. But then you could take a look at like the King James, people that strictly read that, and then you go into like the New Living Translation. You would talk to someone that reads the King James, and they would say the same thing about the New Living Translation. It's like they would say, "Well, it's changed some of the meanings."
If they were a King James only, yes, they would. But they would say that about the NASB.
That's what I mean.
And so, from a scholarly, debatable level, the NASB is the closest to the original text and still readable. So I don't know. I picked up a Bible that's 120 books of the Old Testament. It's the closest I could come to the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible.
It is huge, man.
It is huge.
Here, let me grab it real quick.
You can. It's right there. Yeah, grab it. And it's interesting. Oh, there's a paperclip on the bottom. I've been looking for that.
There it is.
That's my fidget toy.
Here's Ryan's new reading material.
Well, when I first thought, I was like, whenever was there 120 books, And so there's a lot of Gnostic text in there, I will say. And so you have to apply discernment to anything you read. I mean, one of my favorite passages is Isaiah 53. Bar none, my favorite's the Matthew 5-7. I absolutely love the Sermon on the Mount. I think that was this. I mean, it's start to finish explains everything. But so Isaiah 53 is like 12 verses, and I was watching John MacArthur preach on it, and he has like a 10-part series. So he leads off this series. He goes, for the next 10 weeks, we're going to break down these 12 verses, guys. So hang on. And he goes, I just finished a book this week, a commentary on it. The book was 900 pages. And I'm like, how on earth do you get 900 pages on 12 verses? Well, there's a lot that plays into it because it's the salvific message. Now, John MacArthur said if you only have those 12 verses, like it's the gospel message in a nutshell in the Old Testament, right? And so, but you think about this and the way that those 12 verses get translated out and the way that people read them, particularly where it says, by his stripes you're healed. You know, so when you look at it across like charismatic and there's another Pentecostal, they look at that as this certain type of healing. But when you look at it from Southern Baptist, it's a different type. You know, I mean, so you have all these different things. Same verse. Let's use the King James. You got 5 different Protestant denominations reading it and 5 different takeaways. Now, at some point, everybody's idea was generally the same. A lot of it was up for debate and discussion, but for the first basically 300 years as they're developing the church and building it and creating text and the letters and things. So all the New Testament is a letter to somebody.
Right.
Matthew is a letter to the Jews, and Luke's a letter to whoever it is. John is the letter to the Christian. Paul's letters are to the churches and to individual people, and then you have Peter's letters to the all these things. They're all letters. The Old Testament is a history book and poetry and laws,
songs.
Yeah. So the letters didn't stop at 33 AD. They continued way afterwards. They didn't stop at John's death in 96 AD. Right. They kept going.
Yeah.
So it's weird to me growing up in a Christian home, in a Christian school, in a Christian church, that I was never encouraged to look
exactly
outside of this. Yes. Never told about ecumenical councils. I was never told how we even got scripture. I was always taught that it was the written word of God that's inerrant, all these things. And even as a kid, in my mind, I'm like, well, Jesus was here from 0 to 33. Right. We're 2,000 years in. How is this inerrant? Now, I appreciate the complexity of the Bible. And, the drive to understand the truth has always been a part of me. Now, how do you get there without being a scholar with thousands of dollars? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have to apply spiritual discernment.
I was going to say, the spirit, man, for sure.
And you're kind of on this. You're kind of on this blind, unguided tourist.
Being directed and guided, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird too. Like when I was going through it, it's like someone said, "Well, you should really go to. I can't answer this question. You should go talk to a Catholic priest." And this is right when I'm.
And Ryan's like, whoa.
It's right when I'm coming out of this.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, Grandma told me that Catholics are going to hell.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. So, you're like, whoa, this is totally.
So
fine.
I molded over, and I was like, man, how do I even go about this? And like 10 days into that prayer and thought process, a Catholic priest messaged me.
See, isn't that wild, man?
And so then I go and I sit through this about year-long class to learn, and what it did is it deepened my knowledge. I mean, I gained so much wisdom from this guy. He's one of the youngest priests, blah, blah, blah. And it changed something inside me of the way that I look and dig and where I'm at with it. And it's fun for me. I love that part. But what I've come to find is not a lot of people are on board with that.
No, man, it's tough. It's a tough course, man. Because it's like so many people get so tunnel visioned. And it's like anything outside of that, it's like, oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. No. You know what I mean?
The things they call good are so bad.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. It's like, come on, guys. We have to be able to get out of our own little box and not put God in a box.
It's hard
it's
for me,
almost like they put God in this box, and it's like God
100%, that's what I've done.
Yeah,
God was in a box, the Holy Spirit was in another box, and Jesus in another box.
But God is so abstract, man.
Yeah.
Like there's no like our understanding will never comprehend it.
Well, that's what the book says.
Exactly.
And that's a good thing.
That it does say.
I still have the desire to understand. I mean,
well, yeah, I think
not
that's what
necessarily,
drives you a little
how
bit.
do we, how do
that
we
yearning.
get to this point, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just when I was taking the classes to become a deacon, one of the first books I got was the Book of Common Prayer, and I really struggled with it because I was like still like wholly reformed, you know, WHOLY. And so they hand me this book that's not the Bible, that talks a lot about the Bible, and so I start researching it in this Anglican, and so then I'm reading about it, and all of a sudden it says, and at the time it was written, the Christians were persecuting other Christians, so the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church were persecuting Protestants. So they have these guys all up in prison, right? All these reformers, and so these Anglican scholarly people that are writing the Book of Common Prayer really like these Reformed guys. Well, they used to be Anglican, probably, you know. Yeah. So they bring them out of their prison cells. They bring them out of these prison cells and have these conversations with them. So then the history says that there's a Reformed influence to the Book of Common Prayer. So just reading that, I was like, oh, all right, page 1, here we go. Now I use it for so much stuff. Yeah. I mean, if I'm struggling in my prayer life, I can go to that book and it can get me started. It points me to scripture. It gives me some written prayers, which a lot of people say is vain repetition, and I say that's malarkey. I used to say it's vain repetition. You know, well, Trish, she does her Orthodox prayers.
Oh, yeah, I love it, man. But like you said, it gives you a direction. It kind of gets you going in a way, and then you can kind of take off from that. It drew
me in.
Yeah.
Is what it did.
Yeah.
I thought for sure it was going to put me off, and what it did is drew me in.
Yeah.
And we got to keep doing that kind of stuff.
I think so too, man. I think so too. I think you gain a lot from it.
I think so. You want to wind her down? We've been on here long enough.
Yeah, because I mean, I was just thinking
this tomorrow. I've seen your phone's dinging.
Yeah, well, I talk about like the running and what that does. I actually, my oldest boy, man, this dude's he's a stud, man.
He's a specimen.
Oh my
He's like
goodness,
scientific specimen.
But man. I love it though because I'm so good at running, and he's not quite there. And it almost it's kind of fun, but he wants to do a little bit more on the running side. So we've been going, and dude, hats off. They're like, this dude does not run, and dude, we go out and
you can't say he doesn't run. He just doesn't run like you.
Yeah, but he wants to run longer. Yeah. So we went out last Friday. He's wanting to run with me every Friday. Yeah. And that's kind of the thing. And it was Father's Day, the weekend before. And we didn't really get to hang out much. So he'd hit me up and he's like, hey, Dad. He's like, we didn't get to hang out much today for Father's Day because he's working and just a lot of things going on. He's like, I'd really like to, hang out with you. He's like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, I'm pretty much free Thursday or Friday. And I was like, well, you know what I want to do? Yeah. And he's just like, you want to go work out, run? I was like, yeah. So I was like, let's go meet at the gym. We'll do a little 30-minute gym session. And then we'll go hit like a 3-mile run or something. And he's like, all right, let's do that. And then I was like, after that, we'll go have a meal, and we'll go get something to eat and then go hang out. And he's like, all right, man, let's do it. So we go out. We end up at the gym for like an hour. So I was like, well, we doubled the gym time today because that's based off Jared because Jared loves the gym, Yeah. And I was like, so that means running's getting doubled today. So we're running 6. So we went out and knocked out a 10K, man. Yeah. And on the fly. Nice. And then, so then he's like, well, I want to keep this going. He's like, every Friday we're going to have to go. So in about 10 minutes, he's getting off and then we're going to go hit a run, and his buddy's even coming out for the run. Nice. My wife's even now coming out for the run. Good. And Ryan, man, you want to come run, dude? Nope,
I'm going to go eat lasagna. I'm more like a Garfield.
Yeah, so we're about to meet up here shortly and do probably knock out another little 10K, man, here this evening, man.
So while you're talking about your accomplishments, last year I did the taco eating contest.
Yeah, you did, man.
So the other day, Grandma Shirley tagged me in a Facebook post. They have a new taco eating contest.
Oh, no way.
Well, it's crazy. You only have to eat 20 tacos in 30 minutes. And I'm like,
dude, you killed that.
Yeah, I ate 30 tacos in 20 minutes last time.
Yeah, I thought it was more than that.
No, 29 actually.
Was it 29? I thought it was minutes. Like 32 or something.
No, I could have probably done it if I had to, but I really only had to eat one more than second place. So I just really needed that money. I like the bragging rights on it. I watch a lot of food competitions, but it kind of cracked me up. I was just thinking about as you're saying that, I was like, I'll go in and eat a tray of
So where's the
lasagna.
taco contest at?
Taco Hut up on 30th.
Oh man,
The guys, so new people, the people,
dude, their tacos aren't as good though. I don't think.
a
Man.
lot of people did complain about it, but I still
Yeah.
like. I grew up eating Taco Hut because
I
it's
did
right.
too, but it was different.
lived-
It was better then, man. Back in the
so
day.
changed now. So new people bought. The same people have owned it for 30 years, and so it went from a mom and dad to a kid, and now they sold it. And so the people that own Bogies actually bought it.
Oh, no kidding.
And
When they buy that?
I think so. So the old lady that started it a long time ago actually still is working there to teach them how to do everything the way she did it. But yeah, I don't know, 6 weeks ago or so. They
Okay,
used to.
so I haven't been there since
for
then.
20 years. They've been closed on Tuesdays, and so they made a big deal about being open for Taco Tuesday. So they have dollar tacos.
Yeah, how do you a taco shop not opened up on Tuesday? This Taco Tuesday around
right?
here.
There is. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
A lot of places. So anyhow, yeah. So I kind of chuckled about that when you're talking about it. I was like, yep, now for sure. I'm going to go get this t-shirt and
Yeah, you're going to have to.
give me a
right?
hard time.
Yeah, you're going to have
Yeah.
to, man.
Let's wind it down, man. I
Yeah,
found
let's
this
do it,
quote.
man.
I was looking for something
Yep.
different, but I ran across this and it kind of struck me. But it says, I have a limited amount of time left on this planet. I'm not going to spend it being a watered down version of myself just so people can like me.
Ooh, I like that.
And
Yeah, authenticity, man.
when I think of
Genuine.
that, I think you live that.
Yeah.
I think you do. I struggle with it. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, and it's just part of my nature. And it's not that I feel like I need to be liked. Well, really, honestly, I mean, it doesn't affect me one way or the other. But at the same time, when you look at it, you kind of do. I have a limited amount of time left on this planet. I'm not going to spend it being plain and normal.
No
and
way, man.
I'm going to be expressive, and I'm going to show people, and I'm going to be a light.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think that's like the long way of saying I'm going to be better in every way, every day.
Getting better every day and in every way, man.
That's
Yeah.
it, man.
Getting better
Dude.
every day and in every way.
So-
Authenticity, genuine, man. Bringing about greatness.
Bringing the
Life,
greatness.
love, man.
Well, hopefully
joy,
we
gratitude.
bring about a podcast.
Yeah.
We spent-
Podcast too. Let's go. Back Shack, baby.
Take two. I don't know if it was as good as yesterday. Yesterday was fire.
Dude, yesterday was
I
awesome.
100% agree. Like at the end of it, when
Dude,
you're like,
yesterday was good.
I mean, it's just like we had a did not finish.
Yeah. We
But
had a
what we
DNF,
gained from
baby.
it was great. We had a great conversation. Really changed some of my perspective on things that I'm going through, and so it was good to just come back to the Back Shack after being gone for a month.
My man.
And so soon we'll be moving to the bunker.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case things get crazy.
Yeah, the world's getting tough. We were moving out of the Back Shack, and we are headed to the bunker. We're going underground.
Going underground.
Going underground.
So that'll be coming up in the next few weeks. And so
when hell's breaking out up here, we'll keep the podcast rolling, man. We'll be in the bunker.
and if there's ever a tornado, we can still be rolling like
we'll roll
crazy. So the Back Shack will still be around, but not for us. We're gonna pass it on to the next guy, and hopefully
Taking our painting with us,
we
though.
are taking our one, and we're gonna hang up the new ones by
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
and maybe some other stuff. I think hopefully we stay in this house a while. So
All right, Ryan.
I love you, brother. It's good looking out. Enjoy your
Much
run.
loves, man. Much loves.
I think I'm gonna text Colton and tell him that right after you smoke him running, he should ask
No,
how
it's
to wrestle.
Jared.
Oh,
It's Jared.
Jared.
Yeah.
Oh, Jared. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Jared. I
Jared.
knew it was Jared.
Yeah, Colton
'Cause I
definitely
said-
ain't running,
Yeah,
man.
no.
Colton definitely ain't running.
Maybe for a cold beer.
Yeah.
I think he would.
Cold beer and a steak.
I,
keep me
yeah,
up.
I meant Jared. That's why I said after you beat him in running, he should ask you to wrestle.
Yeah.
I mean, he's collegiate champion wrestler
yeah.
here.
Dude, that dude's, man.
He is such an amazing kid, though. Heart of gold.
Heart, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
I love that he's a beast and so kind.
Dude, he's such, Oh, dude.
Yeah, good boys, dude.
Yeah, man. I do, man. Definitely blessed there, man, for sure.
All right, man. I love you. We love you
Yeah.
guys. Have a
One
good
love.
one.
Shalom.
See you soon.